What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Bienvenidos. Today we're gonna chill, kick back, and I'm doing a Q&A type of video. I asked you guys here on YouTube actually and on my Instagram to send me your questions, and I'm going to be answering most of them today. In today's Q&A, I'm planning to do it more of a personal Q&A because I have gotten a few people ask me to do more videos about me and who I am. That way you guys can get to know me a little bit more. Since I do have quite a few more subscribers than the last time I did like a get to know me type of video. So that's mainly what this Q&A is going to be about. But I am going to try to sprinkle in some of the makeup and YouTube related questions in there as well. If you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome. You should definitely subscribe. I post makeup videos, foundation reviews, lifestyle stuff, all of that. So if you like that stuff, subscribe. And I already know this video is going to be really long, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. The first comment that I have here, it's actually one of the most liked ones on here, I think, is what is one skincare product that has truly changed your skin for the better? Let me actually grab it so I can show it to you. This can kind of be a tricky question because I changed my skincare routine almost all at once, but one product that I feel like really made a difference for my skin, and it still works for me, is the acne.org benzoyl peroxide treatment. It's supposed to help like dry out acne and all that stuff. I only spot treat with this, so I don't apply it all over my face. I only apply it wherever I have active acne. So if I just got like a big old zit on my face, I'll apply it on there and wear it overnight, wash my face in the morning, and then apply my moisturizer. How have you achieved your self-confidence / self-love? That's a really good question. And with that, I think it just takes a lot of time and experiences, both good and bad. I don't think anyone has ever achieved self-confidence or self-love through only positive things. You have to go through things in order to grow from things, seriously. And if you still struggle with these things, just know it's normal. I'm not 100% confident at all. I still go through things and times where I'm just like not feeling it. Like for me growing up, even now, honestly, like if I'm being 100% honest with you, even now, like I feel like I don't really fit in, and that's in so many different scenarios and so many different ways. But now that I'm older, I've learned to take advantage of that and take advantage of the fact that I won't always fit in and I don't always fit in, and that's not a bad thing. It's always good to be kind of that one person that stands out and doesn't always blend in with the rest of the crowd. So it takes some time. You do have to really think about those negative things and bring them to light and make them somehow positive. But once you get there, I feel like that's when you really realize that you're getting a lot more confident and you really are starting to achieve that self-love. Here's more of a light question. When will you have a meetup? I would love to see you and meet you in person. I want to have a meetup. I'm working on it. I actually have already talked to my manager and told her that's one of the things I really want to do this year, hopefully, but it's a lot harder than it seemed. You really have to think about like security, location, like all of those, like cost, everything. So I really want to host one. If I don't have a bigger one, maybe like a more intimate meet and greet where it's just kind of spontaneous and I just do it on a whim. But I do, and I am planning on having a meetup soon. What is one of your favorite makeup techniques or tricks? This is something I realized this morning that I do all the time. I think it's one of the best tips that I can suggest or give, and that's to tap instead of blend or swirl. And what I mean by that is when you're applying your products, like your bronzer or your foundation or your highlight, but when you're applying like your bronzer, tap it on your skin. Don't brush, don't go like this, because that spreads the product everywhere, and especially if you already have foundation under, it's going to mess up your foundation. If you're applying your foundation and you're rubbing it on, it shears it out. It doesn't give you the most coverage, and I feel like it's not as flawless and even. So it's a simple trick, but I just try it. You said you had a communication degree. Did you ever finish that? I heard you went back to school, but I don't know. And what do you plan on doing with that degree? Here's the update. So I'm done. I'm done with school. I got my bachelor's degree. Cal State University, Long Beach State University, whatever you want to call it. But I got my bachelor's degree in communication studies. What is communication studies? What can you do with that degree? You can do so much. Public relations, social media, event planning, business even. If I wanted to, I can go into business and be their communication person. Every business needs somebody that has experience in communication studies in some way, shape, or form. But yes, I finished. I'm completely done. Took me 5.5 years to do it. And I finally have my diploma. I have it right here. So it says Cal State University, Long Beach. I'm not going to read it all, but Sabrina Marie Johnson, the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies, with all rights, privileges, and honors thereunto appertaining. Given at Cal State University, Long Beach. Yes. But I still cannot believe it. It's crazy, but I'm so glad to be done. And now it's reality. Time to pay my dues, time to pay my loans back, but I'm glad that I'm done. It feels good to be done, especially because now I'm able to do this full time. But yes, for those of you wondering, I did finish my degree. What is the best thing about living together with your fiance, and how have you learned to compromise as a couple under the same roof? Of course, one of the best things about living together is that you get to see each other almost every single day, pretty much every single day. But that comes along with a lot of maybe bumping heads, a lot of bickering sometimes over the dumbest, smallest things. Like you may be leaving your toothbrush out, or not squeezing out the toothpaste in the right way, or leaving boxes in the pantry when there are no more snacks and cookies or whatever in there anymore, just an empty box, or in the freezer if there's no more ice cream left in the box and the box is just in there empty. Like things like that, you have to kind of compromise and understand that, okay, it may take some time for our routines to kind of mesh, but it's really nice because you really get to learn about the other person. And for us, I feel like we act more like ourselves when it's just us two under the same roof. We have our own little lingo, our own little language, and nobody looks at us like we're weird. You know, you always have that person like here with you and you're not alone. But don't get me wrong, I did go through a time where I was living in this apartment alone, and it was sometimes like sad, or I was alone and I just felt weird, but it was also a good learning point for me. So if any of you out there live alone, or you're going through a phase in your like relationship or something, I've said this before, really take some of that time to get to know yourself and to do the things that you've always wanted to do alone. You learn a lot by living with your significant other, but you can also learn a lot by living on your own. I second the self-love confidence question. I recently got over postpartum depression, and the only thing that really helped me were self-help books. I'm ready to start loving myself more, and I remember seeing books you had posted on Snapchat, but I didn't screenshot. Do you have any YouTube or Instagram recommendations of people who are really positive, etc.? Also, please share workout tips, tricks, and things you do to keep yourself healthy, gym outfit recommendations like favorite sports bras and shoes. I usually like watching more lifestyle videos, whether it's vlogs or just lifestyle stuff in general, but I do find myself looking for more relatable people on YouTube and Instagram. So if any of you out there watching this video recommend anybody to watch, drop it in the comment section, because I myself am looking for people like that are just more relatable, and apparently some of you guys are the same. If I can share workout tips, tricks. I'm barely getting back into the more healthy lifestyle. I used to work out all the time. I used to be in sports in high school, and then a little bit after that I was still like fit and working out, but then I stopped and now I'm getting back into it. Chris and I actually just started going to the gym here at our apartment complex not too long ago, and we're getting back into it. I'm actually gonna go work out after this video here. But gym outfit recommendations, I usually like going to Forever 21, Target. I think what motivates me most when I'm trying to get back into the healthy lifestyle or working out is a good pair of workout shoes. For me, workout shoes, I I rock them all the time, whether or not I'm working out. So I always recommend going out and getting yourself a good pair of shoes. I think that really motivates me to go and get my butt to work out. Here's another common question. What's going on with your wedding/engagement? No pressure to plan anything, but I haven't heard an update. I get this question often, and I also have been getting a lot of you ask me what happened to my rose gold engagement ring. I have 2 rings. I mean, I addressed the wedding one. I did an update on the vlog channel. You should definitely check that out. I'll link it below. But as far as what's going on with the wedding and what's going on with the engagement, the engagement rings. I have my engagement ring. Let me show you. They're both right here. I'll put both of them on. They're both still in my presence, and I love them both. I just decided to go back to my OG one that Chris proposed with. I like it. I love it. I love the silver. I love the simplicity of it. It's not so like boom out there, which I really, really love. And this one right here, I think we're going to save it for when we do, I don't know. I'm not going to say it because I'm not sure how we're going to incorporate this one. They're still both here. I still love them both. I haven't gotten rid of any of them, but that's, I guess, one of the things you guys want to know is where's the ring or what happened to it, why I don't wear it. I just switched back to my OG one. I'm a lot more attached to this one right here, but that doesn't mean I don't love the other one. And I need to get this one cleaned so badly. This one is, because of the style of the ring, it's a morganite rose gold. The name is somewhere over there, but because of the style, the stone back here is exposed. It's hard to see on here, but the stone is exposed, so it gets dirty super easily, and it needs a deep cleaning. And if you want to know like the wedding update, you can just check out the video down below. If anything else changes as far as that, at this point I'm just letting him make the choices for whenever he wants to get things rolling. So if there's an update on anything, I'll update you guys. Simple as that. What do you think sets you apart from other YouTube influencers / vloggers? And this is kind of a weird question for me because that means I have to sit here and talk about myself. But I think I want to say one of the things, I guess, that sets me apart from other YouTubers and other vloggers is my personality. I'm guessing that's why you guys like my channel and keep coming back. My personality and just the fact that I'm pretty open with you guys, especially here on YouTube. And I like my content to be relatable, whether I'm talking about makeup or whether I'm talking about my life. Like, I'm gonna sit here and show you all of my acne because there are people out there who struggle with acne as well and struggle with applying makeup. But I'm also gonna sit here and tell you about the fact that I didn't grow up the most confident and things like that. Like, I'm gonna sit here and be real and raw as much as I can with you guys and show you that I am a real person just like you watching. I'm also not afraid of speaking about who I am or where I came from, where my family's from, and I think a lot of you guys can relate to that as well. Ever since I started my channel, I started talking to you guys about me being biracial, being mixed, being Latina, being Black, where my family came from. Like, and a lot of you out there are also biracial or Mexican or Black, and you guys can relate to me on that level. And there are some of you out there who maybe are not biracial or are not Mexican or are not Black, but you can still relate to me because you also express who you are to the people around you and aren't afraid of doing so. So I think that's kind of one of the things that sets me apart. I don't know. It's kind of weird to sit here and be like, this is why you guys love me. But yeah, I'm guessing those are some of the things. Did your family support you and Chris moving in together prior to marriage? I love y'all's vlogs, by the way. Keep them coming. Thank you. Did our family support, or did my family support me and Chris moving in together? Yeah, they weren't against it, really. We just were like, oh, we're going to move out together. And they were like, are you sure this is something that you want to do? Not necessarily because we were not married or anything, but just in general. Of course, your parents want to make sure that you're making the right choices. What is something you are most proud of? By the way, I love you, love you. One of the things that I'm most proud of, I think, is, and I'm not trying to say this to be, I don't even, why am I even saying that? Who cares? One of the things I'm most proud of is the person that I'm becoming, honestly. I think, like I said earlier, growing up, I wasn't the most confident, or I didn't fit in as much. And even now, I feel like in certain situations recently, like there are times where I just feel like I don't fit in with the other people around me. And I'm finding that that's not a bad thing, and I'm taking that to my advantage. So just learning as I'm growing up, I think that's one of the things that I'm most proud of. And I think that's why I can't wait to turn like 25 or to turn 30, because the older that you get, the more you learn and the more things that you go through. And I feel like the better person that you become, because when you're younger, you're a lot more naive and you're obviously like not as confident and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of, is just growing up and becoming the person that I'm becoming, if that makes sense. Who is your biggest influencer / mentor? I don't think I have just one. I think I try to surround myself with people who I know will influence me in a positive way. My mom, my dad, Chris, my sisters, my cousin, Rosie, just so many people around me that influence me and help me out with day-to-day things. What does Chris do for a living? Ever since the accident, I actually had asked him if he wanted to help me out. He started helping me out with my channel, and I think it's cool because now we're working together, we're living together, so he's learning how to like edit and take photos and all that stuff, and I really want him to like come on board because I need help, but of course I want to be able to help him out at a time like this where he's not able to go out and physically work. And if it ends up working out, we can turn into like that blogger. He could turn into like a YouTube husband. But yeah, I think that would be really cool, because as he's getting back on his feet, he'll be able to help me out, and it'll help me out, but it'll also help him out as well. What would you and your fiance describe yourself as, passive or passive aggressive? And I think, I don't know. I feel like at certain times we're both or none. Like there are times, but when we're like passive aggressive, we're joking. It's not like we're being very serious. Or when we're being passive, I think Chris and I are very open with one another. In any time that we're feeling a certain way, whether it's good or bad, we just kind of say it to one another. We've gotten to that point in our relationship. It's almost 5 years that we've been together. And so I think we've gotten to that point where we don't need to be passive really with anything. We're so direct with one another that sometimes we're a little too direct with one another, seriously. But yeah, I think for us, we've gotten to that point where we don't really feel the need to be passive or passive aggressive with one another. Are you going to be adding more luxury purses to your closet? If so, what's on your wish list? I want to add, I don't want to get too many. I think adding maybe like 1 or 2 of the Gucci ones would be really nice. I like right now the trendy Gucci, what are they? The fanny pack Gucci bags. I think those are so cute. Getting maybe like a black one or a white one would be nice. But for right now, I think maybe in a few months I'll get another one. I don't think I'm gonna get too crazy with it, but I don't want to speak too soon and then end up with like 10 designer handbags. But for right now, I'm loving my Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis. Maybe down the line I'll get another one. We'll see. At what point did you decide to go all in with YouTube? Did you have a lot of support from your friends and your family? There was just a point where I was like, I need to take this leap. I don't know what's going to happen. But when I did go all in with YouTube, even though I took like a leap and I just kind of did it on a whim, I still was smart about it, and you still have to think about it. Don't just take a leap or cut off a job without having some sort of a plan or something to fall back on or support. I did have support from my family and from Chris. At that time, we were at our old apartment, and I called Chris one day. He was at work. I called him just crying because I was just over working. Like I was going to work, and yes, I loved working where I was working at, but not being able to go to certain things on the weekends for my sisters, or going to their school stuff, or doing things with Chris on the weekend or during the week, just not having that flexibility. I just got fed up and I was like, there has to be another way of me doing this. I have to find a way to make what I actually genuinely love doing and turning it into a full-time thing. And I'm getting even like choked up talking about it because I can still remember that day, literally. And Chris brought it up the other day where I called him and I was just crying because I was like, I'm just over this. And at that point, he was like, just quit, just do what you want to do and we'll figure it out, we'll get through it. And I did, and ever since then things started to kind of fall into place. I got really lucky with that, but then at the same time I don't want to say I got lucky because I have been working really, really hard. But you really have to have that strong support system to do things like that. If you don't have a strong support system, be your own support system. Do you plan on traveling in the future? If so, where to? And would it be alone, with Chris, friends, or brands? I do want to travel a lot this year. We're still trying to, since he's not working with me, we're still trying to find like a way of how we're gonna like work together. Obviously, you have to think about the business side of things, the finance side of things. So once we figure that out, I do want to start traveling, both of us. I'm sure there'll be times where I'm traveling with brands and maybe I'll have to travel alone, and I'm also willing to do that. But I don't know where I want to travel. I know I want to travel to maybe like Chicago, maybe to Texas, Hawaii. There's so many places that I want to go, but I don't know where I want to go first. Would you ever consider getting your brows microbladed? What are your opinions on it? I don't think I would. I don't mind doing my eyebrows on an everyday basis because I don't do my makeup actually on an everyday basis. I do my makeup maybe every other day, 2 times a week. I don't mind filling in my brows. My makeup routine's already pretty simple, so brows isn't like a big thing for me. And I've looked through like microblading companies and stuff, and I have yet to find like one that looks super natural the way I would want them. And brows are one thing that are constantly changing right now. Like brows like this, feathery, full yet natural looking, are in, but maybe down the line they're not going to be. So I don't think I would. I think microblading, I don't even know for sure, but I think it fades over time or something like that. But I just wouldn't. I don't think I can commit to that. What advice can you give to college students when it comes to balancing school, work, and social life? I know you just graduated, so I'm curious to see how you did it because a girl needs help. That's a good question. And actually because I'm going through the questions and I can't answer like all of them because this video is already crazy long. But if you've gotten to this point of the video and you have any questions related to college, any questions related to school, comment them right now down below. I'm going to do a whole college Q&A video where I go really in depth and talk about my experiences and all of those things. So comment your questions in regards to college and school down below, and that way I can have them all in one place. So when I do that college Q&A video, like I'll know exactly what you guys want answered. So I'll save this question for that video. Are you and Chris having a baby soon? And they put a little emoji. We're not planning, but we're also not planning, if that makes sense. It's gonna happen when it happens. When do you think, or in how many years of being a committed couple, is it a good time for a man to propose to his girlfriend? I'm asking because I've been with my guy for 4 years and we've talked about marriage, but I never really see him try to really do it, I guess propose. And I don't want to rush him or anything like that. But it would be nice to have that reassurance that he wants to really be committed to us and make it official. We already live together and are basically living the married life. Also, he's 26 and I'm 23. I thought he was about to do it on my birthday when he joked and got down on his knee and gave me a necklace instead of a ring. And it was a bad joke. That's a very bad joke. I would be lit. I'd get over it, and later on I would think it's funny, but at the moment it probably wouldn't be funny to me. But I just brushed it off because it was my day and I didn't want to ruin it for myself. And also, it was a nice necklace, LOL. This isn't really a question for me to answer. This is more of a question for Chris, but I don't think he would want to come on camera right now. I think a good time, both of you, of course, want to have that conversation before so you can both be on the same level, because a lot of times that can make or break a relationship if one person wants to get married, the other one doesn't. If one person wants to have kids and the other one doesn't. A lot of times you can make it work. Sometimes it just doesn't work. But I think a good time is when both of you guys feel like you're ready. I can't put a number on it, honestly, because I've seen people who have been together for months and they get married and they're together and married for years. On the other end, I've seen people that wait years to get married and then they're married for years and it ends up working out. If you feel deep down inside like you're ready to move on to that next chapter in your life, maybe try bringing it up in a different way than you have before, and try to spark up the conversation and say, hey, it's been a while, I just want to make sure that this is something that you're still into. But you don't have to be so blunt and straightforward about it, because it's also hard for the other person, the person who's doing the proposing. It's hard for them too to think about when is the right time. Is she ready? Who knows? Maybe both of you are thinking that same thing and both of you aren't wanting to bring up the conversation because you don't want to bring it up because you don't want the person to suspect that you're gonna propose or that things like that. So just try to spark up the conversation, but I cannot give you when I think or how many years is a good time for somebody to propose, because it really depends on how you guys feel about your own relationship. What did your family think of your partner when they met him for the first time? My dad, with any person that he meets for the first time, like before when I was in high school, when I was dating somebody and I introduced them to my dad, like he always has this face that he just looks like he's not having it, like he does not like you. That's always how he is, and he's like that for a while until he starts to warm up to you. So that's just how my dad is. Like he always has that face like, nope, you're not good enough. Like in the beginning, all the time, with anybody, with me and my sister, like that's just my dad. My mom's a little bit more open, like not open, but like she's a lot more relaxed. She's not so like, who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you talking to my daughter? Kind of thing. But at first, of course, they had to warm up to Chris and get to know him. But Chris is really like, he's super laid back, talkative, like open. So once he like kicked it off, I think that's when they knew like, okay, we can get along with this person. How do you decide who to partner with on YouTube/Instagram? To be very honest with you guys, I already said that so many times in this video, but to be very honest, when I first started getting like sponsorships and collabs, I was so excited and I was saying yes to a lot of those, like hair company, extensions, free clothes from brands that I was like, I've never heard of you, but I love free clothes. I love dressing up. I need clothes to post more Instagram stuff. So when I first started getting a lot of those collabs and sponsorships and opportunities, I was like, yes, 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 this is so awesome. Now I've really started to build, I guess, my brand or build my name or the type of content person, things I put out there. So I'm very, very specific on what kind of brands and companies that I work with. I do not, and it's funny because a lot of what I'm saying kind of resembles, this past weekend I went to this event and I was able to watch like a lot of panels, and Kim Kardashian was there and she was talking about like her businesses and how she's grown, and she was saying how, like, similar to what I just said, that a lot of times before she even became super, super famous, or when she was growing, she always used to say like yes, yes, yes to a lot of deals, but she doesn't regret saying those because it's a learning experience. Like, you're able to work with brands that you love and maybe brands that you've never heard of, but you still would recommend and that you really enjoy. And then that builds you up to really be able to say, okay, now that I've experienced all of that, now I can pinpoint exactly what brands I want to work with, what brands I don't. Don't get me wrong, there are times where I've never tried a product, but I'm still willing to work with that company because it's a company that I like, or because it's a product that I've always been interested in trying or looks interesting. So I still do things like that, but I'm very, very specific with what kinds of brands are making sure I try out the product before even recommending it to you guys, or even saying yes to the sponsorship, things like that. So where was I before that? Yeah, so deciding who I partner with on YouTube and Instagram. Like if it's a brand or a company I'm not really interested in, never worked with, or I'm not sure, I'll just say, hey, I don't think I'm a great fit. Maybe pass this on to another influencer that might be good. Or if I know or have somebody in mind that I know would like that opportunity, I would forward it over to them or say, hey, you should reach out to this person. You know, they're looking for this, this, and this. Maybe you might enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to answer a few more because this video is crazy long. How long did it take before YouTube paid the bills? Hope this question isn't too personal. Any advice for aspiring YouTubers? So I think I've done a video before where I gave a lot of advice for like YouTubers and anybody who's trying to get into like the social media space. How long did it take before YouTube paid the bills? If you guys have been around my channel for a while, when I quit my job at Sephora, that's when I really started like go and really like started getting into my channel and really getting a lot more specific on what I wanted to do and who I wanted to work with and all of those different things. And that's also, I think that's around the time when I got my first manager that I used to have. And from there, I mean, I wasn't doing anything else besides YouTube. So I just made that my full-time thing. And ever since I started my channel, I've been super committed to it, whether or not it was full-time. But then that's when I really cranked it up a notch, and that's when I made it like a full-time thing, and when I slowly started to realize that it was starting to like pay the bills. Has YouTube ever got in the way of your personal life? Do you ever need to step away from the camera? And that is a great question, because a lot of times I get questions like, how do you get free product, or how do you get a lot of followers on YouTube, or how can I grow my YouTube channel or be, you know, big on YouTube and get paid and all those great things. But there's another side to this whole YouTube thing. There's a very fine line between YouTube and personal life, and you really have to know how to balance that, because it can kick you in the butt. There have been times, I don't want to say that YouTube got in the way of my personal life, but there were some times where YouTube and my personal life have meshed. Like a video like this, like I'm talking here on YouTube, that's considered like my job or work, but I'm also talking more about my personal life. But there have also been times where people outside of, I guess, my support system, and support system meaning my family, meaning friends, meaning Chris's family, friends, and meaning you guys, my supporters, people who actually support me and my channel. There have been times where people outside of that, just random people, tried to take advantage of the fact that they know a little bit of information about me, about like my relationship, or about my family, or little things about my life in general, and try to take advantage of that. But there have been points where I've really had to say, okay, I need to be more careful with what I say or put out there, or I need to be more careful with who I let into this that I've created. But you just gotta, you know what? There are people out there that are just mad, that just don't want to see you succeed, don't want to see you prosper. So you just have to realize that, and sometimes you do have to take some time away from the camera. Whenever I see you, I imagine my daughter when she's a beautiful young lady like you, all grown up. She's Salvadorian and Black. My question is, how was it growing up mixed? Like, did you fit in with one side more than the other, or was it never an issue? For me, I grew up with only my Mexican side of the family. I did not grow up with the Black side of my family, and it's kind of a complicated thing to explain. I never dimmed down the fact that I was also Black just because I only grew up with my Mexican side of the family. I also don't think I've ever said like, oh, I'm more this than that. I've always, when people ask me like, what is your nationality or your ethnicity, what do you mix with, and all those different things, I would always say, oh, I'm Black and Mexican. And it's funny because I think society and a lot of people try to always put people in categories. Like, no, like you have to be more Mexican than black. Like, there's no way you're more black than Mexican. Like, people always try to put you in boxes and try to say, okay, you speak Spanish, your skin's not as dark, and the Spanish that you do speak, you're very fluent in it, so you have to be more Mexican than black, or you have to consider yourself more Mexican than black. And that's not the case. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I consider myself, and I grew up Mexican and black. I don't consider myself more Mexican than more black. I don't consider myself more black than more Mexican. And it is tough to grow up being mixed sometimes, just as it is tough growing up not mixed. Like, it's tough growing up in general. Growing up is tough. And constantly being put into these categories and trying to be put in different boxes, it can be kind of hard, because this goes back to the whole not fitting in thing. When I was younger, I didn't really fit in because I was different than a lot of the people around me. I wasn't just Mexican. I wasn't just black. I was both. So, like, what happens then? Like, people don't know how to react sometimes. And it's crazy because a lot of people are multiracial. Like, almost everybody nowadays is, like, multiracial. But still, it's still, like, growing up, it was still a weird thing. And even now, like, with people around me, or with other, like, when I go to events and other, like, even influencers, or just people in general, it's hard to fit in. I've always felt like I wasn't Mexican enough, or I wasn't black enough to fit in with certain people growing up, or people that I even come in contact with now. I try to build relationships with people that do what I do, and it's hard sometimes. But for me now, it's not really an issue. I just move on. Like, if I don't fit in, oh well. Like, I just have to take advantage of that and just run with it. There might be times where your daughter may feel left out, but it's good to always have those conversations and say, hey, it's okay to be different, or it's okay to not look or feel or seem like everyone else. That's what makes you you. So just make that a point to her as she's growing up. I still have so many questions to go through, which is insane. I'm going to screenshot, like, all the other questions I have and save them for another Q&A, because you guys are asking amazing questions like you always do. So I'm gonna stop it here because this video is crazy long, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I felt like I got a little bit more personal, and there were times in this video where I kind of struggled with getting my words out, because it's hard for me to come on here, and I don't even know how many people are gonna watch this video, or how many people this video is going to reach. So talking about myself personally and about things I've gone through in my personal life sometimes is hard, but I know that you guys understand. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if you did, give it a thumbs up. I'm sorry the lighting was all over the place in this video. I'm not even going to bother fixing all of that, because this is meant to be a relaxing video. So I love you guys. Los quiero mucho, and I'll see you all in my next video.